Hey, grown folks, reminisce with some feel-good music as we have grown conversations.
Join us on our journey as we apply knowledge to power. For together, we are better.
Every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Grown Folks Radio, Everyday Talk with Carmen and Kevin. And it's Grown Folks time. Welcome, grown folks. As always, thank you for joining us on this journey. And to all the new listeners, welcome to the Grown Folks family. This is GFR Worldwide and Everyday Talk with Carmen and Kevin.
What is up, fam? Happy National Parchment Day.
Parchment?
What are you talking about?
Parchment.
Welcome to the show, Dan. Welcome to the show.
So parchment, like where you bake cookies.
Yeah.
So you had to bring the cookies and show us the parchment paper like that.
I don't know what
You're
had.
Like
only lucky I don't know what that was before it was just explained. Otherwise, I would have started with where are they?
Macadamia nut cookies. That would have been so good.
Welcome to the show, fam.
Praise God.
Hey family, if you have not yet followed and like us, make sure to do so. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Podbean, and of course here on Facebook under @GFR Worldwide, and visit us at gfrworldwide.com. Today we are speaking about our recap of pursuing fears and breakthrough. But before we do all of that, we want to say hello to the family who's all on with us. Miss Deborah is on as well. That's Kevin's mom. Hi.
Hola.
¿Cómo está? Hey family, make sure to share the love with others because this series has been quite light bulb moments, I think, for a lot of people.
It's been enlightening for me, and just in the conversations that I've had with my friends and family. This is very much something that needs to be spoken about, and it's a conversation that a lot of us need to have. So this is fam, if you have the opportunity, please listen to the last three shows starting from the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. All of 3 of those of June. I'm sorry. Just amazing content. Once you sit back and you listen to the show, you can really, really, really see how powerful the content, the meat and potatoes of pursuing fear. Great series
in
guys.
every aspect.
And I think it's been really good because it's like, it's the moment. Mm-hmm. I believe it's the timing of this conversation. It's what we're living in right now, everything we're experiencing, and everything we're seeing in the world today. It's just time for us to be able to pursue fears. And as Angela had stated, those are two words that when placed together are ironic, but when we get into the conversation, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Very much so.
But you know how we always do, family, before we get into these conversations, we like to marinate, celebrate with some music.
Guys, as you know, our indie artist of the month, Mr. RJ Exclusive, will be joining us later on in the show for that interview.
What?
Yeah, we're excited about having that sit down with him and AC. Great guys, very, very into the word, very passionate about God
and supportive,
and very supportive. I love the fact that they're so about their community. If you follow them and you see the things that we have posted on their page, if you follow them, you see what they're posting on their page. They're always out in the community. They're always doing functions at church and out. So that is a beautiful thing. It has been a pleasure to work with you guys. You're family now, right? So we hope and pray that God continues to bless you, show you favor and grace. All right.
Yes.
Let's jump into Rain by our Indie Artist of the Month, Mr. RJ Exclusive, right here. Everyday Talk with Carmen and Kevin.
on Grown Folks Radio.
That's my autograph right now. That's all I'm saying. I can sing.
Let me feel your presence and your glory. I'm coming to you, Lord, even though I'm not all worthy. Won't ever paint the image of me ever being perfect, but I'm a living testimony as your son and as your servant. I have so many stories of the mess you pulled me out. You showed me favor, Lord, I'm knowing this without a doubt. Don't need to glamorize my title, they know what I'm about. And if it ain't about his glory, then you can call me out. And I'm praying every day that you will make me stronger. So many devils among us to leave my flesh up in hunger. And I try to stay away, it's not a day I don't repent. Lord knows that I try, but my days are in with sin. And I gave up my religion, started focusing on relation. Religion can change you, but relation fix a nation. And I can't pray enough for change, but please change our hearts. And please fix our mind, cause it all starts just with a thought.
People's around me, left me lonely. Thoughts they haunt me, uncontrolling. Christ surrounds me, love's unfolding. Rain your blessings down upon me. People's around me, left me lonely. Thoughts they haunt me, uncontrolling. Christ surrounds me, love's unfolding. Rain your blessings down upon me.
So many times up in my life, nowhere to go but straight to Christ. Tried to fit in, it wasn't right, it wasn't no. God love, it feels so nice to clean my sins like dirt on ice and fill my soul like breathing rice. It got me so full. And if you don't hear me, gotta get this message. God love is infinite, he reigns eternal blessings. Don't ever give your soul up for life ago, because the afterlife is a story never told. It's never told. It's never told, because the life after story never told. It's never told. It's never told, because the life after story never told. Ooh, hey, it's close.
People's around me, left me lonely. Thoughts they haunt me, uncontrolling. Christ surrounds me, love's unfolding. Rain your blessings down upon me. People's around me, left me lonely. Thoughts they haunt me, uncontrolling. Christ surrounds me, love's unfolding. Rain your blessings down upon me.
Changing the mindset. We're breaking the mold, bringing back the love and care at Grown Folks Radio, Everyday Talk with Carmen and Kevin.
And that was Rain from our Indie Artist of the Month, Mr. RJ Exclusive. You know, that was, guys, if you want, you can check us out right now and see that all the contact information that we have for RJ is on. All right. So check him out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Please connect with this young man. This is a man of God right here, guys. And we know how we do with Grown Folks Radio. We support our artists, their family, right? What I like about this song is that it is super powerful. If you really sit back and listen to the content of the song, well, actually we can say that with all of their songs, his songs, the content is powerful. It's so right on. It's so applicable to what we have going on in the world right now. Yeah. And
the lyrics, the lyrics that Dan and I both were like
picked up on.
Yeah. Because I had just told Kevin, whoa, that's powerful. Rewind that.
Do that again.
Do that again.
Say it again. Say it again.
Because the lyrics are pretty amazing and their beat is awesome as well. You can see yourself cleaning the house, cleaning the car, just taking a drive and listening to the music. It truly connects, and it's very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And not only that, right, RJ, if you're out there on YouTube or you find him on Facebook, you also see him ministering the word.
Yeah. And what I like about it is this is a young cat.
Yeah.
This is a young cat. You know what I mean? Just setting fire to the next generation. Right. And that's what I love. We able to, we're able to connect with the next generation. When we're connecting with artists like RJ. So let's continue to grow. Let's continue to connect. And hey, RJ, if you know any fellow artists that you feel could connect with us, that would be a good fit, please let us know. Connect us. You fam now, guy.
Yes, and of course, we have the interview coming up. But before that, family, that we've been enjoying this segment of Grown Folks Radio where Kevin speaks to the fellas and shares from his heart things that can actually, recommendations and suggestions and knowledge that can actually help the fellas, and most importantly, women. We can also apply them to our lives, but the single ladies, we can also look and see what is it that we should look for. So, family, it is time. That's my new thing.
I see that. I see that.
I like it.
Right. It is time for Kevin's Manly Manners.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Wow. Hashtag Go Tampa. Every week. And every week, fam, we're going to ignore Dan. Okay, with that Brady Grunk stuff, right? Anyway, that's another conversation. Welcome to my segment of the show, guys, where I talk to the men of the family and, try to drop, as the First Lady would say, some nuggets of knowledge.
I don't say nuggets. I'm sorry. Let me correct that.
See, I like that.
No nuggets.
Nuggets
is food.
That's why I said that. That's why I said that to see if she was going to catch it.
Oh, she was going to catch that.
Hey, guys, as you can see tonight, the energy level is great. We are really just trying to have a good time. We've had 3 weeks of rock solid content about this fear, right? And how to attack it, overcome, acknowledge, and have a breakthrough, right? So, enjoy the show, guys. All right. Before we get started, fam, every week we're going to talk about Jeremiah 29:13, which simply says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart." Carmen, myself, and Dan O'Toole personally invite you to see God in everything you do. I promise you, we promise you, it will change you. It will change your perspective on things. It will change the way you speak about things. It will change you as a person. It is the most beautiful thing in the world, fam. Okay. So, this week I don't really have anything to really talk about. I'm going to have a transparent moment for the Manly Manners.
Okay.
Sounds
good.
I love the fact that Dan is so talkative right now. That's that charge. That's that charge. All right, guys. So, Monday, Sunday was Father's Day, and I had a chance to spend some time with my son, and after he left, I had time to reflect. So, come Monday, I'm sitting at I'm working, and I'm just thinking about the world. I'm thinking about my son. I'm thinking about my nephews, the children of my friends, and how bad the world is, and to be honest with you, I actually started crying. Okay. I'm not one who cries a lot or very often, but, in allowing my thoughts to surface and acknowledging how I was truly feeling, I'm angry, but I'm scared, right? I'm angry and I'm scared. I'm scared for our children. I'm angry for the way the world is right now. But, you know, my son is 21 years old. My nephew's 21, 22 years old. And then I have a niece and a nephew, a couple of nephews under them. So I'm scared for them. So I reached out to my brothers and my sister. And my sister sent me and my brothers a message. And it hit me so hard that it choked me up. Okay, so it's so powerful that I felt like I needed to share this with the family, because this is the type of love, and this is the type of understanding that men, all of us really, but men need to hear this. Okay, there's a lot going on in the world, fam. We know that, but you can see in every way the absence of us as men in the world. Okay, so I just wanted to share the message. If you guys could lend me an ear for a few moments here. Okay, my sister Erica said, remember that we are all sons of the King of the entire universe, and that comes with great responsibility and certain promises from God. You must remember that God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. Any other mindset is not of God. Remember that. God made no mistake when he decided what color, hue we would be, or your children would be, but the responsibility of them knowing who they are and how to treat others rightly falls on our heads. God has trusted us with his sons and daughters. That is a privilege that God has equipped us all. So be encouraged, brothers. Though the world darkens around us, God's light is never dimmed within us. Place God's words in your mouth and mind to encourage your hearts. You will need it. And most importantly, our sons and daughters will see a fearless example. Us men, fathers, need to get back on the spiritual battlefield. Our children, our nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, moms, and dads, and the bride of Christ needs us. So many times we've spoken about the blueprint that we've all been given as men and how to handle certain situations in life. It's time to, if your blueprint wasn't that great, it's time to change that. You have the power right now to make a change. You can't deal with or change what has happened in the past. You can change what happens in the future. If you have a bad relationship with your children, your nephews, your nieces, whatever, you have the power to change that. You have to get out of your way, get into prayer. You know, my sister said, get back on the spiritual battlefield. It's so easy for us as guys to check out because we don't want to deal with that. And what are we doing? What's the repercussion of that? The repercussion is that we don't give our children a sound blueprint of how to handle situations in the front and in the future. And we don't connect. So when we get older, our kids don't want to have nothing to do with us. Why? Because we don't want to have nothing to do with them. So let's be mindful of that. Let's stay connected with our children. Let's stay connected with our friends. Last week, the First Lady talked about our hearts and how important it is for us to look at ourselves. Let's start doing that, guys. Take a few seconds, look at yourself. Like what we always say, change is uncomfortable. We all know that. But it's going to be uncomfortable. But you need to change. We need to change. Our children needs us. Our family needs us. The world needs us. Okay? And that will conclude the Manly Manners.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. Woo! Dan, what are you thinking? You're over there listening.
I think that was great because, I never really thought of really impacting my niece and nephew who stay with me a lot while I'm working. And, I never really thought about impacting them as well as my son, of course.
I mentioned several times that as men, we have to be mindful that everybody's watching us.
Yeah.
Especially the children. They don't have to be your children. They, you know what I mean? If there is a single mom who's out and about and she has a son who finds some type of interest in you, whether you walking by or something that you had on, the bottom line is he's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And you don't know what he's going to remember and what he's not going to remember, but you have to be mindful of that.
Right.
You have to be mindful of that. How a man is truly supposed to treat a woman. You show a young man that at an early age, he will continue that.
Yep.
He will continue to do that. If you're showing kids, little boys and little girls on how to handle credit, for example, educate them about credit early, how to save money. They'll always do that,
Right.
Definitely.
So, but us as men, if we don't know how because we may not be good at money, doesn't mean that we can't learn.
Right.
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 Yep.
And, and that's what I'm saying. Once you know better, you got to do better.
Right.
So
Yep.
if you know that's an area of opportunity, but you have, a couple of kids coming up behind you,
Right.
you need to educate yourself so you can make sure their life is better.
Amen.
Very nice. I love that.
I
It was absolutely amazing, and the message is beautiful. I want to take a moment and say hello to Alex, who's on, who said, hello, friends. I'm clean and pure. Nichelle says she's a little bit busy, but she's dropping by. Carl is on. Hi, Carl. And Tiff is on as well. And there's quite a few of you who are there listening to us. Please make sure to stop by the chatter box over on Facebook and say hello to us. We want to acknowledge you, and thank you so much for the support. We couldn't do this without you guys, and we do it for all of us, right?
Amen.
And of course, I think that was absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that moment of transparency. I was there to witness, so and we had a conversation, but it's great to know that you get support and encouragement from other angles, and that it hits you to the core. So it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Great job. And of course, it's a time for inspiration, motivation, Wisdom Nation.
Wisdomation.
Wisdomation. Wisdomation. And it's time for that moment of a quote to give by our very own Dan O'Toole.
Nice. Thank you.
It's a singing moment today.
I laugh every time I hear O'Toole. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, it's
As much as we say it.
yeah, it's grown on you now. You got it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember when I first said O'Toole. When I said, Dan, your name's O'Toole? And he's like, O'Toole. Like, so stern. O'Toole. Like, how dare you? And I was like...
And look at him now.
I was like, you're O'Toole to me.
Now I laugh when people call me and they say O'Toole. Is Dan O'Toole there? I'll just laugh like that. It's funny. All right. So tonight's is, I believe, a great one. So I'll start it. So only in my fear did I find my might. Only in my pain did I find my will. Only in my chaos did I learn to be still. Only in my darkness did I see my light. Once these have been accomplished, nothing can stop you from moving out of your comfort zone and through your fear.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wait, so is this another breakthrough moment?
The beginning part I did take online.
Okay.
But the whole ending with "Once these have been accomplished," that was written by me.
Oh.
Yeah. That's
He's having moments of breakthrough.
still.
Yeah, it's like at
Still.
2 a.m. in the morning.
Hey.
Yeah, that, I'm not okay with that part.
Well,
but
that's usually what happens. So, and that's usually it.
Yeah, the good Lord be talking to Carmen. Like, she gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't even say nothing.
I appreciate him talking to me, but I would really like to sleep one night.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
You want the conversation, you don't want the conversation. That's the only way it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't pick my times.
Man, you walked right into that.
I can't pick my times, but I would prefer God, please. Just a little more sleep.
That was pretty awesome. Hey guys, it's that moment, right? We've been waiting for this time. The guys are already online for that interview with RJ Exclusive and AC, his manager. We are so excited. RJ, so I know that you have been out here for a little bit in regards to your Christian hip hop. Can you give us a little bit of a background on how you started?
Y'all can hear me good?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Well, I started gospel. Originally, I didn't start off gospel rapping. I started off just rapping, regular. Especially growing up in Louisiana with the influences of all the different type of rappers that come from down here. But ultimately, my father, who's a bishop, he got a drift, a wind that I was rapping like that, and he talked to me about it. I thought he was gonna hate me for it, but he embraced it, and he said, "Man, if you're gonna do anything, man, do it for God. It'll last. Because what you do for God gonna last, but what you do for the world is gonna perish away."
Yeah.
So I talked to him about it, and we ended up doing this song called "A Change in Me," and ever since then, it's been literally a change in me. It's been everything, every song I write, every place I go, I'm trying to put on for God.
Very nice, very nice. All right. So, listen, I am a humongous fan. I was telling AC I need a CD. You know what I mean? I need a CD because I love that song. Was it No Worries?
Yes.
Yeah, No Worries is like my joint. Like, I can rock that any day, any time of the day. I'm good with that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, big fan. So tell me a little bit about your crew. Was it E2 crew?
E2 crew, that's the family. E2 crew is literally, it stands for something, okay? So E2 stands for 2 E's and 2 words. The 2 words are eternally exclusive, which really means forever one of a kind. Eternally exclusive, forever one of a kind. You see exclusive Jordans, that means it's only one of a kind. I put those 2 words together because I feel like God said that we are all made in His image. But nobody really looks exactly like, even a twin has different characteristics. But that just shows how wide our God is and how big He is and how diverse He is. If He can make all of us in our image and we look different. But I also said that it's eternally exclusive, which means all of us are God-like, but we all have a different part of God. God all gave us one little piece of Him. You know what I'm saying? That's exclusive. That's one of a kind. And the crew stands for family, because when you go to McDonald's, they have a crew of workers. When you go to any type of job, it's a crew. When you go to your family meetings, your reunions, it's a crew of y'all. So I put eternally exclusive, mean, yes, we all have our differences. Yes, we have white, we have black, we have Mexicans. But at the end of the day, we are all family. That's what E2 Crew stands for.
Amen.
And it's just a variety of people, man. I don't have just artists that's in the crew. I have a bunch of friends that rock with me. Anybody that loves God and anybody that could contribute to spreading it around the world, they're part of the crew. You family. Y'all part of E2 Crew now.
All right, that's what
Check
I'm
it
talking
out.
about.
We're part of E2.
You know
I'll be
what I
like,
mean?
E2?
I gotta tip my hat off to you, RJ, because I love your creativity, man. I love your creativity. That's powerful. That's powerful.
Well, wait a minute. Let's not bypass the fact that his dad's a bishop.
Good point.
So I'm sure that his prayers have been pretty powerful in the making of who RJ Exclusive is. Is that partly true?
Yes, that is true. Wait, could you repeat that question one more time? I could barely hear you.
So on the your dad's a bishop.
Yes, he's a bishop.
Yes, and so what I was saying is that him being a bishop, his prayers in RJ Exclusive becoming who he is and how passionate he is about God has partly to do with that.
Yeah, it does. It has a lot to do with it. But see, originally my father. Also, I'm a minister. I'm a preacher as well.
Yes.
My dad always said that he wanted one of his children, to be the next person up, the next runner up to take over after he leaves. And at the age of 14 years old, I had a dream. I used to deal with migraines. I don't know if you guys know, but in 2016, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Yeah, I was reading that. Yeah, I was reading that.
Yeah, in 2000, but at 14 years old, I was dealing with headaches. I was dealing with them bad, and God came to me in a dream. And the way I knew it was Him was because it was a real bright light. It was the brightest thing I ever seen, but I couldn't see through it. But at the same time, it wasn't blinding me. And He told me that He wanted me to take over after my father had passed away. And in an instant, the migraine that I was dealing with, it disappeared. And I woke up immediately, and I ran to my dad, and I told him what had happened. And he told me, don't be scared of it, because this is something that I prayed for. And to cover up all the preaching aspect, because I was scared of it at first, I went to gospel rap, But then he gave me something else, and he told me, he said, son, I got something for you. He said, instead of you being scared to step in front of stages, because I was scared to go minister to people my music, he said, we're going to call it Same Message, Different Message. In other words, I'm preaching through my rap. Like you guys, I've been listening to you guys, and you always complimenting my lyrics. And that's just because I'm literally ministering through my music.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that rap, and there's a lot of gospel rappers, and I'm not knocking them. I listen to all of it. I love Lecrae. I love all these guys, but I put a message to it that if you listen to it, like don't you let up, it'll literally give you some scripture. It'll give you a good vibe, and when by the time you finish listening to it, you full, because you're not just listening to it for a beat. You're listening to it for that message.
Right.
And I ended up taking that same message, different message, and I've been doing it ever since, man. And yeah, my dad is a big influence on me, a huge influence on my life.
That's a beautiful thing.
Especially his prayer.
What I mentioned earlier, RJ, is because you're younger, so it's exciting. I'm excited. We are excited that you're reaching the next generation behind us. You know what I mean? You're filling them, and you're showing them how great God is and how powerful He is and who He needs to be in their life. So I'd want to commend you on that.
I appreciate you, brother. That's the most important thing, especially in this climate.
Right.
With everything that's going on in this world, between the coronavirus, the racism is rising, just so many different things that's going on. We need to realize that we have a God, and He's a big God. He created all this, and He can fix all that. But we just got to continue to have the faith in Him, and we got to continue to pray that everything else going to be okay.
All right.
Amen.
So in saying that, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but we want to know a little bit more. So as far as what is your creative process like writing your songs and the lyrics and the music behind it? What's it like?
The creative process, I'm a homeowner. I got my first home at 24, and my dad, another thing, my dad, like I said, he's my biggest influence. He has a room in his house.
Okay.
And he built it and he literally spends all day, basically every day in that room, and he's battling between watching a movie and writing sermons. And I kind of took that from him. I watch a lot of TV, and I also am in this man cave 24/7. You can ask AC practically live in my house. And I'm always stuck in my man cave, man, and I'm watching things, and the creative process is really just me just watching things that's going on. Like, I got a project right now that I'm working on. It's called God Got Us. I don't know if y'all seen the logo that's been made for it, but I have God Got Us, and I have a white hand and a black hand shaking on it. Because that's the climate that I'm feeling. You know, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I need to connect our brothers and sisters a lot more. But it's really just about what's going on in society. Whatever I see going on, whether it's the virus, whether it's the politics, whatever it is, I put it in, and then I try to mix it up with some biblical facts. Biblical facts. Because if you stand on God's word, you don't have to worry about nobody contradicting you when you're a Christian.
Yeah.
You know?
Amen.
Right.
A lot of people, a lot of rappers, they say things and it could be twisted. But what I say, whenever I do it, I'm making sure that I'm sticking to the scripture and I'm sticking to what God said, so that when I do say it, people really pay attention and they really say, "Oh, he said that. I could go back and read it in the Bible." But that's all it is. It's just me sitting in this man cave, watching everything going on, putting the beat on, and just going with the flow, just going with what God gave me.
That's beautiful. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So AC is your manager. Tell us about how that came about. Because AC is such a great supporter and he pushes you out there. And AC, thank you so much because he's always so great.
Yeah.
He is
AC's
so
the man,
great.
yo. AC's the
Oh,
dude.
Lord. Oh, Lord. Where I start? All right, AC is, all right, the way I met AC is, my dad has a church in St. James, Louisiana. And I was doing some music out there. I was always doing some type of rap, and once I met him, I was already established. And he came to me and he said, "Man, let's take a picture," because AC, anybody in Louisiana know that if you see AC gonna want to take a picture with you. He gonna know your birthday. He gonna know your mama's name, your cousin's name. AC is just that type of person. But he came up to me. He embraced me. AC embraced me. He said, "Man, I'm a fan, bro. I just want to know you." I said, "Man, look, bro, rock with me." And that's the way I talk. I say rock with me. If I want you to be with me, I say rock with me. I said, rock with me, man. And me and AC, he started talking to me, started hitting me up consistently on Facebook and everything. I said, "Man, AC, bro," I said, "You know a lot of people, dude." I said, "You know everybody around here." I said, "What you want to do some managing thing?" He said, "Man, what you mean? I ain't never been a manager before." I said, "That's all you gotta do." I said, "Hey, so that's all you gotta do, man. Just call up the people that you know, tell them you know RJ Exclusive, tell them about my music, and then you go from there." And ever since it came with some burdens. It came with a few little things. I ain't gonna sit there and act like the road has been roses and cream. But I will tell you this much, like y'all said, he's my number one supporter. He's like a brother to me, literally, that didn't come from my mom or dad. And he's a good guy, man. He's a good guy friend, man. He's a good guy. So I love Ace and I appreciate Ace.
Well, you know,
That's
the
awesome.
good Lord he's surrounding you with people that's about grooming you to go to the next level. So, you know, that's a beautiful thing. So I got a quick question, RJ. Now, you know, you've been our indie artist for the entire month of June, and we've been talking about that fear. What
Yes, you have.
have you pulled anything from the series? What is the things that you got? How do you feel about the series?
Man, y'all series has been fire. Especially, no pointing, not to the guys. I'm sorry, guys. But the wife, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, we know.
That woman over there,
Trust me. Yeah.
Lord, she got some fire, boy. She got some fire with her words. I'll be sitting back just listening like, good God, keep going, sister. I'm working out at the gym listening to y'all like, keep going. I wish y'all could see my face.
Oh my God. Glory to God. That's all God.
That's all God. But man, God bless you. You got that. You most definitely got that exclusive touch. I ain't lying. First Lady Exclusive. That's what we're gonna change your name to.
Yeah. Look, I know. We gotta. And what's crazy, man, is she was kind of nervous about getting on the radio, but you can see the good Lord is working through her. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but she hit on so many. Y'all hit on everything, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Some of the things that y'all. Matter of fact, I was just listening to one of y'all yesterday. Yesterday, and going back over it, and I heard you said people fear. They'll let their fear hold them back, like from coming out the closet, from fear of people, just so many different things that you were saying, and I was like, man, it felt like this brother preaching to me about some things, because we all got some things. Ain't no man clean underneath the sun.
Nah,
You know, everybody got something they done did, and that fear will hold them back because they scared of other people finding out. They scared of what might go wrong, you know. But last time I checked, the only way people could judge you is if they're willing to be judged on that same measure, you know.
Right.
But man, it's just y'all fear topic has just been head on, bro. It's been awesome. It's been amazing. Y'all done said some jewels. I hope some of these people that's listening, they go back and they listen to this stuff and they take their notes. Cause I know I am. You can't die. You can't process all that stuff in one take. But y'all got some jewels, man. I can't even begin to describe on it. I can't. It's just so much, bro. So much that done went on.
I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to you and AC, because last week's show alone we had over almost 900 views of last week's show. Okay, so we just want to thank you to the whole family actually for sharing the show. We're trying to get that message worldwide. We're trying to build, that connection with and surround ourselves with people that are like-minded and spirited, right? And so we
are aligned,
right? That connection.
Yes,
that connection. So wow, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. If there's one thing that you need the fans to know about RJ Exclusive
and AC,
oh, you can't leave out AC.
You can't leave out AC. Come on,
that's my dude. You know what I'm saying? If there's one thing that you want to let the fans, your family know here at Grown Folks Radio, Everyday Talk with Carmen and Kevin, what is it that you want to tell the fans, your new family?
I want to tell the fans, don't let up. Don't let up, no matter how hard it gets. I mean, no matter how hard life gets, no matter what things you're going through, you got to remember that in the Bible it said that we'll face many trials and tribulations, whether it's fear, whether it's anxiety, whether it's racism, no matter what it is. Don't let up on life and don't give up on God, because he won't give up on you. In Proverbs 3:5 it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding, but acknowledge God in all your ways, and he shall direct your path. I know right now we're having problems in this life, things that we can't control. But we have a God that sits high and look low. And as long as you keep your faith in him and you constantly lean on him, I promise you he won't let you down. But you just keep on pushing and don't let up. And God won't give up on you. Amen. That's what I tell the fans, my brother.
Amen. We appreciate it.
Amen.
I just want to say it has been a pleasure working with you, sir. And, any new music that you have, any, shows or whatever you got going on, please let us know. We will love to help assist in marketing and continuing to grow. I got a question. How far are you from Lafayette?
How far am I from Lafayette?
Yeah.
About an hour.
Okay.
About an hour. I live in Prairieville, Louisiana.
Okay, because I have all of my family on my dad's side is in Branch and Lafayette. So
yeah, I ain't that far away from Lafayette. I take that ride up there every night. As a matter of fact, I just had an event before this whole pandemic happened up there and outside to help a few homeless people out. But it was pretty amazing. I went up there. Yeah, right before this pandemic happened, I was in Lafayette. Very nice.
So when the First Lady and I come through Louisiana, I'm gonna hit you up. All right, so we can connect.
Hit me up, man. Let's go eat some crawfish.
Yeah.
Man, look, we're gonna talk about that though.
Get some what?
Some crawfish.
Oh, we bring AC too.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna connect, man.
Yes, Lord, let the First Lady speak that knowledge.
All right.
Well, we're gonna go through it pretty quickly in regards to the fears portion, right? On pursuing fears, one of the items that we were talking about is that it's not normal expression to pursue your fears, right? Normally those two words are kind of ironic together, yet if you do not pursue the fears, you will never know why the strategy to cause you to fear was necessary. So what we want to say is really quick on the pursuing the fears. As you mature in the walk, the Holy Spirit begins to reveal certain changes that need to occur, and making your change the entire wardrobe of who you are to those that become as the armor, and molding in your spirit to reveal fruit. So pursuing your fears is aligning to your purpose in an uncomfortable state.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to do a quick recap.
I know.
You're doing good.
Okay. So pursuing fears in relationships, because of our history and our journeys and our experiences, we can place a barrier to relationships. It may be a friendship or a family or a fellowship, whichever relationship that is. We can avoid complete contact or stay angry or avoid communication, not forgive. We can become bitter and so on. And pursuing that fear of that relationship becomes completely opposite, right? And one of the fears that we mentioned after we were speaking to be able to break through our pain and our hurt can also cause a certain type of jealousy to arise and show up as, the foundation of that is actually fear, and that could be included in ministry.
Right.
And then we can find ourselves comparing our ministry to another's ministry when that ministry is not even ours. So releasing the fears in relationship allows for God to work, as he states in 1 Thessalonians 5, to build and encourage one another. So in reaching out, we need to find the method of communication, having the difficult conversations, forgiving and releasing the hurt and pain, and allowing God to be able to mold us from within completely outward, and be able to make those type of connections and alignment to the people. And sometimes you need to forgive people that are not physically involved in your life.
Right.
You just need to forgive them to be able to release that weight.
Yep.
Right.
And move forward and be able to move on. Yes.
Okay, so breakthrough we're talking about is the final step, kind of, sort of, in this portion, to take in faith. And so we release the fears. Does not necessarily mean that we will never have the fear again, or have the doubt again, or wonder again, just because life just seems completely out of place sometimes, and we kind of bring up the fear ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, life is nice, and you're not used to nice, so then you kind of have to bring in the anger or the fear, or get mad at somebody just because it feels right to be mad at somebody.
Yeah. I mean, well,
sometimes
because that's the norm. That's what you've grown accustomed to.
Right.
So you're right. Anything that's different, you don't necessarily want that.
Okay, so what he created you for, whether that was a gift or a talent or a ministry, a fivefold ministry business, you will break through the fear to get to the destiny, even if it means you walk through it afraid. Moses was a perfect example of that, right? He was so afraid and doubtful that he questioned everything God said to do, ultimately taking his brother with to complete the mission that was destined for Moses. And he took Aaron with him. Meaning, even if you must walk with trembling knees or hold on to someone as you get there, breakthrough occurs when you take the step, right?
Yes.
Breakthrough is the place where your alignment becomes evident to you. Not to people, right? Because people can see all the potential you have in the world. People can see the gifts and the talents and the calling that God has placed in your life. People can see it, and there could be prophecies upon your life, and there could be people saying, man, you can speak so well. Man, you can write so great. Man, you can sing so awesome. Man, you have a gift of putting teams together. You got gifts of putting businesses together, but you won't take the step of faith to do it because you're fearful of what the possible outcome could be, meaning you're fearful to fail. So everyone can see the possible potential because you've been able to do all these things all along, but you yourself can't see it, right? And God has then placed the gift and the talent in you, has placed the ministry in you, but you yourself still can't see it. So breakthrough is when you get to that place where your alignment becomes evident to you.
To you.
Right.
Yeah. You have that aha moment. I can do that.
Yeah.
Not only can you do that, but you're also impacting people along the way.
Right.
So that's part of the light bulb moments, right? Because you feel very comfortable when you finally get through it. After the fear, you break through it and you get on the other side of it, and it just becomes comfortable. It becomes easier to do, and it becomes like, hey, you want the microphone? Like when I first got the microphone, they say, hey, they told me to give you a microphone. I said, well, God didn't tell me to grab the microphone. So I'm sorry, we're not in the same alignment. That's not what he told me. And she simply shrugged and said, well, I'm just a messenger. I gave you the message. And I felt so convicted. I took the microphone and I went through that with my knees trembling, not knowing what I was going to say. And eventually what I said, okay, I'll just introduce you. And what happened was that I introduced her with the message that she was going to preach on.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Right? But we don't know what God's going to do with that until we allow him to do what he wants to use you for, that vessel that he wants to utilize you as.
Right.
And in order to get to that point, you have to be able to break through fear. So this past weekend, which we had an amazing conference we were in, it was awesome. The person who was supposed to do the introduction, the morning introduction, wasn't able to make it. And so they looked at me and they said, Carmen. And I said, okay, I got it. Let's go.
That's exactly how it went down, too.
She took it.
And I took it. And I took it only because God has already taken me through these steps of trembling where I got through it. And now in the breakthrough, it's evident to me that I can grab the microphone and now I can speak.
Right. And it was great.
Right now I can speak, and so I can feel confident on what he is going to do, because even if I don't know what I'm going to do or what I'm going to say, he is going to do it. And as long as I trust and have that alignment with him, I know he's going to break through and he's going to speak what he needs to speak.
Right.
Yep.
And I won't have to think about it. It will just pour out.
Amen. Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
I want to take a moment and say hello to Angela, who said breakthrough is when you align to your purpose and destiny together with the Father.
Amen.
Amen. And Mr. Larry's on.
Hey.
So that is part of the whole wrap up of what we were talking about, that whole recap, because it's really important to understand that pursuing fears within yourself, pursuing your fears, pursuing the fears in the relationship with our two things, mind you, which is the second commandment, because God says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So that means there's two things that need to happen in that one commandment.
Yeah.
Right?
It's sometimes hard to get through that.
It's like part 2 is like 2A and 2B, and they have to go together. You can't separate them.
Yeah.
It's it's like in the form when you fill it out and say, and bring your ID and your social security card. And it's not like you can bring one or the other.
Right.
You got to bring them both.
Right.
You have to. So it's the and part, and we're supposed to do that and part. So in order to pursue our fears, we need to pursue the fears inside the relationships that may have hurt us and marked us along the path, and how that in turn created a domino effect for other relationships and other friendships and other connections, and allowing to be open for all of that to occur in order for God to build a body, right? Because God says he's coming, Jesus is coming for a church. He's not coming for 3, 4, 5 churches, one. And it says one body of Christ, one body of Christ. We are one body.
One body. Yep.
Right?
Amen.
So whether you are the legs or the hands or the eyes or the whatever, the mouth, we are one body. And each of us have different types of talents and skills and callings and, right? Because it all goes together. All goes together, right? It's the and part. That it's important for us to be able to create this body, to be able to branch out and reach to others, because we can't branch out on our own, right? There's too many people in this world. They're not just going to listen to Kevin and to Dan and to Carmen or to Naya or to whomever, right? Everybody doesn't listen to TD Jakes.
Right.
And TD Jakes is huge. Not everybody listens to Joyce Meyer, and Joyce Myers is huge. So it's all dependent on what territory you are destined for.
Right.
And that territory belongs to you. So it has to be, what do you do with the gift that's given to you? you have to break through it.
Yep.
You won't find out until you break through it.
Right.
And where it's going to take you, you're not going to know until you break through it. One of the things that we talked about were important steps to breakthrough, which was receiving salvation, prayer, persistent prayer, fasting, faith, alignment, patience, forgiveness, repentance, and standing still and watching God work. All of those are important for breakthrough. So when we are speaking in regards to pursuing fears in relationship and breakthrough, we are speaking about doing so with the Word of God, understanding what the armor is, understanding what the fruit of the Spirit is, understanding what build and encourage one another is, understanding what forgiveness is, understanding repentance, and doing all of those, and fasting and prayer, because it's not possible to do all of those on our own. We need God to be able to do that, because He's the one who strengthens us to be able to pull through that breakthrough. Amen. Any thoughts? What do you guys have to add to that?
I completely agree. You know, as far as, you know, you always get told you have to forgive, you have to do this, you have to do that in order for your breakthrough to come. But it took a while for me to get to that point. Right. Where I was like, why am I struggling? Why am I not doing something more? And through my prayer life and everything like that I started up, and the show, of course, you know, I was able to get to the point where, gosh, that's what's holding me back. And once I released that, I think that's why I'm so much more energized and happy.
Okay.
Because I was able to finally get to the point of my breakthrough. Mm-hmm. And so once I got to that, it was hard. I mean, it's 3 years later.
Right.
But, you know, as when I got there, I feel like I'm just a weight lifted off my shoulder, and it feels so great. So get to that point. Push through.
Yeah. I love this series because it was speaking to me on so many levels in regards to what I need to be doing, and the fear that I have because I can't get out of my own. I can't. Exactly what the First Lady said is exactly what's dealing with me. Mm-hmm. That's why I made a comment last week when I felt like it was a side eye because, you know, what I'm called to do, I have to step out in faith, but I'm not. I need to have that breakthrough, and having conversations. You know, the First Lady and I say this all the time about the topics that we're talking about. You know, we're talking to the family, but we're talking to ourselves too. Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. So this whole series was talking to me and addressing the very core of the thing that's keeping me from having my breakthrough. So I pulled a lot from this. I listened to all three of the shows today while I was at work because all three of them are powerful.
Yes.
All three of them, you know, are applicable to everything you got going on in life, and why you haven't done something. I guarantee you the root cause of it, somewhere in there, is fear.
Yep.
Right.
Somewhere in the equation is fear. Mm-hmm. So
you got to push through it.
You got to. You know, we talked about it. You got to acknowledge it. You got to go after it. Okay, and then you got to break through it. So it doesn't have that lasting effect. It can't come back. You know, we're not going to say that you won't have that issue again, but you're going to handle it differently.
Yes.
You're going to handle it differently because you're not afraid of it anymore. You know what I mean? Like the First Lady said, you know, she was nervous about speaking, but now, you know, people are just handing her the mic, and she doesn't get scared anymore. It doesn't mean that isn't nervous, but it just means that fear doesn't have that effect on her to the point where she won't do it.
Right.
Right.
You know, so I love this series. I hope and pray that you like this series, family. We hope and pray that you love it enough to share it to get somebody in your circle a copy. of the show.
Very good. I like these breakthrough moments you guys be having here, and I get to see it. I get to experience it. Listen, I think it's great in regards to this series because we've been having conversations with our previous guests through our telephone conversation, Angela, after this series, and her excitement throughout this entire series has been completely encouraging. And
Yes.
it's we would do the series regardless, right? But it's great to know that it's just impacting someone, and then not only speaking with her but speaking to Nichelle,
Right.
and having these conversations and watching Dan and watching Kevin, and it's just like when I sit back, it's like, wow, Lord, your word is reaching and touching and doing what it needs to do, because it's that time, family. It's that time for us to step out in faith,
Right.
and understand that God is God no matter what. The God from yesterday, same God today, tomorrow. It does not change. His calling and his purpose in your life has not changed. Which way we use it and which way we want to pursue it is completely dependent on us, because he wants you to also want what he has for you, right? It's sort of like you give a dessert to somebody and they want to eat it, right? You're not going to force them to eat it, but you would like them to probably try,
Right.
right?
Like Dan and his vegetables. Okay.
For them to try, or at least if you give them a gift, to at least open the gift,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
to see what's inside, to figure out, unwrap it, and open up the box and be able to see what's in there. And be able to understand what that gift is, or the reason for the gift, or what, you know, kind of let it evolve on its own. But if we do nothing with it and we push it aside, sort of like we were talking about the coins, and we don't water it, we don't do nothing with it, then it does nothing.
Right.
We do nothing. And God didn't call us for that. He didn't call us for that. As Kevin was sharing, we shared it last week. And it was just perfect because it was a perfect confirmation, right? God does not give us a spirit of fear. He doesn't. So where did it come in? What happened? When did it happen? That's that acknowledgement part.
Why did it happen?
Why? I mean, sometimes you don't even know the why.
Yeah.
Because if I were to sit down and go like, okay, well, why did they do this to me when I was 4? I'm not going to understand that.
Right.
You know, that's not gonna make sense to me at that point. But sometimes you can't even understand the reasons why. And but how is it that God will use that for your good?
Yes.
Right? Because Romans 8:28 tells us that he uses all things for good for what? For those who love him and are called according to his purpose.
Yep.
Right?
Amen.
There's a whole point to that. There's a whole point to him. You love me, I'm using everything that's happened in your life and I'm going to put it for good. He did it.
Right.
He did it with many in the Bible. So he's going to come and use what has occurred in your life, whether you understand it or don't understand it,
Right.
and turn it for your good, to the point where you'll end up using it to help others for their good,
Right.
and giving them an understanding of what that is.
You know, I'm glad you put it out that way, because so many of us get stuck on trying to figure out why things are happening. But you know what you just said, just kind of, you know, it's not important.
Right.
Why?
No.
It's not important. I mean, because you're not gonna. It's a very good possibility that you're not gonna understand why. So why harp on that, and why allow that to keep you from what God has for you?
Yeah, you're not going to understand why. If I were to sit here and try to figure out in my life, and mind you, I did once upon a time, because we want to know why, right? And so if you're kind of like me and very analytical, I need to know the why.
Yes, she does.
I need
she
to know
does.
the why.
Yeah,
But
that's how it goes down.
I have learned in my life that there is really the whys don't truly matter. It's what you end up, what happens after those whys, what occurs after those whys, what flourishes after those whys, how God uses those whys, and what he does with what has occurred in your life, and how do you then demonstrate and show and reflect his light and you become the salt of the world, and you become a person of testimony, and you're able to encourage and build other people by the things that went on through your life, whether you know the whys or don't know the whys, but your whys then becomes so less important because you understand that everything you went through, every storm, every chaos, everything that occurred created and molded you for his purpose. Whether it tried to come, because the enemy does come to do what? Kill, steal, and destroy.
Right.
So if he's able to do all of that, whether that is steal your innocence, whether that is kill your spirit, you know, we always thinking about it that it's all physical, but this is spiritual. He came to destroy you in pieces in the spirit.
Right.
So that your spirit no longer becomes one of power and love and sound mind, but becomes one of fear. So if he's coming to come kill, steal, and destroy, and come to grab that from you, why, then that's where I come in with the why. Why is it so important for you to come and try to kill, steal, and destroy me? Right. And destroy my spirit and destroy my mind? Because now I want to know. Now I want to know what's the power that's within me. What is this spirit and power and love and sound mind that God has given me that you're so afraid of? That I might speak out there, that I might boldly speak to other people, that I might boldly go out and share God's love with other people and be able to encourage them in their circumstance based on the experiences and the journeys that I've had. So wait a minute now that you've come against me, let me see. I'm going to come against you by pursuing every fear you have placed in my life and come and break through it and walk into what God has created me to be, because he created me with power, love, and sound mind. So I'm going to walk in power, love, and sound mind. And let's get it straight. You've already done the try, kill, steal, and destroy. So I already know the strategies. I already know what you're trying to come with. I know what is it that you're trying to kill, steal, and destroy. So now, guess what? I'm now prepared. Now I know the prayer. Now I know the fasting. Now I know the spiritual room. Now I know my prayer room. Now I know my war room. Now I know what I need to say. Now I know the scripture. Now I know the Bible. Now I know who he is. Not only that, but I know that he who is in me is greater than he who is in the world. So if he's in me, I don't have to fear you. There's nothing I need to worry about you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go anoint my house. I'm going to anoint me. I'm going to walk in my anointing. I'm going to make sure that I tell you, you have no place here. You don't have a place in my house, with my children, in my life, in anything that I touch or anything that God gives me. Because guess what? What he's given me is mine. If God has given it to me, no one can take it from me. And that's that.
Well said.
Okay.
All right.
And that's that. And that is walking through in your breakthrough. You have that. This is not special to Carmen. This is not special to Kevin or to Dan or to Nat or to anyone. This is for all, for everybody. If you want it, you got it. You got it. But guess what? It takes a relationship with God. It takes reading the Bible. It takes knowing his word. It takes screaming out scriptures when things go wrong in your life. It takes prayer. It takes knees. It takes tears. It takes war. The spiritual war. It takes putting on the armor. It takes building the fruit of the Spirit, allowing the Holy Spirit to flow through you and to use you. It means breaking out of your comfort zone so God can make you and mold you into the uncomfortable state that's called your destiny and your purpose. The uncomfortable state that is your destiny and your purpose, because that is your purpose. Where you're most uncomfortable in is where God wants to take you to. Let that sit with you. And I encourage you to find out the uncomfortable state. We encourage you to pursue your fears. We encourage you to pursue the fears in the relationships. We encourage you to find that breakthrough. Allow God to help you break through and mold you and create you and build you into who he has created you to be. And we encourage you to become uncomfortable in everything that's very normal to you. In everything that's very normal to you. There was a saying that this one lady was preaching on Saturday, and one of the things she said, you get fired from your job and you keep going to it. We thought it was hilarious, but it's so powerful. It is so powerful what she said with that. You get fired from your job, but you keep going to it. Let it sit. Let it sit. You get fired from your job, but you keep going from it. He keeps calling you out of your space, but you keep sitting in it. That's what it said to me. He keeps calling you out of your space, and you keep sitting in it. He keeps telling you what to do, and you keep sitting on it. He keeps telling you who you are, and you continue to be who you are comfortable with. He keeps calling your name, and you keep ignoring it. That's what that spoke to me. That's what it spoke to me. Truly spoke to me. Angela is saying you have to change the why to what do I need to learn from this. Amen.
Yes.
Very much so. That's actually a strategy, right?
I wish I knew that when I was going through it.
Actually,
it would have helped out a lot.
I went to therapy, and my therapist said that when you hear like something is coming towards you and you feel offended by it, instead switch it and ask yourself in that moment, what can I learn from this? And
instead
that
of
is
why.
And that is the recap, family.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, RJ put it out there that the First Lady is on fire.
Yep.
He said First Lady exclusive. I feel special.
All right, fam. You know what time it is. This is my favorite segment of the show. Basically, the First Lady takes the content of the show, breaks it all down, and puts it back together again with the Word of God. It is the most beautiful thing you will hear on the radio today. Family, let me introduce you to Carmen's Final Thought.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to take a moment and say thank you to RJ Exclusive for being here with us and sharing, as well as AC, because I can hear him in the background. Thank you so much for being on with us. I love the fact that Dan continues to break through, and so does Kevin in his transparency. Well, he's always been transparent, but in his follow-up, I like it. This whole stuff, it's absolutely amazing. I get to see it firsthand, family. I hope you're sharing it and seeing it firsthand as well. We've been talking about pursuing fears in different realms, right? Pursuing your fears, pursuing fears in relationship, and breakthrough. Because all three of them go together, right? In order to love your neighbor as yourself, you need to understand what loving yourself is about. In order to understand that, you also have to know who you are and what are the things in your life that need to be molded and rooted and be able to allow God to transform and mold you into who He created you to be. To love yourself also means accepting all those things that seem weak or not sufficient for you, or take away the whispers that were spoken to you long ago, the things that continue to pop up in your head at times. And loving yourself means that above all things, you will accept what has happened in your life and who you became, but most importantly, love the transformation that God is doing in your life. With that comes pursuing fears. And pursuing fears means to attack them head on and being able to know that if forgiveness is part of it, if repentance is part of it, if that means you now have to mold and get uncomfortable to the state in which He wants to take you, then you walk right into what God has called you to be. Then you do so, and you do so regardless of the fear, regardless of how you're feeling, regardless of the emotion. You do so because you understand that who God is doesn't operate in the realm of fear. Who God is operates in the realm of power. So if I want to be surrounded by God, that means I need to be surrounded by His power. So fear has no place in there. Fear can't live in that space because His light is too much for it to live there. In darkness, there is no light. And God is full of his brightness. God is full of his shine. God is full of his light. And he wants to be able to reflect that in us. But it can't do so living together with the darkness. So you have to let go of the fear. You have to surrender that and allow God to do what he needs to do with it. Whether that means he now has to teach you what it's like to forgive. Whether that means he breaks you and molds you and allows you to uproot and take out these weeds from you and seal you up and heal you up again. It makes you uncomfortable, but it makes you transform. It makes you brand new, and you end up in a whole different place in your life. And now you have pursued fear, and you have understood that the reason why fear was against you was because it never wanted you to get to the place where God is taking you. And when you understand that, you get to understand not only is God powerful, but God has trusted you enough to place a gift, a talent, a ministry in your life to be able to carry it through, because he understands that through your experiences, you can reach other people. You can speak to them. And not only that, but you can identify with them. You can actually bring them up. You can actually mold them and bring them closer to the body of Christ and make them and help them mold right into what the one body is. There is too much to be able to explain the truth behind pursuing fears. But the truth of it, that when you break through it, there's another world for you, another life, another transformation, another you. And I believe that's the reason why people in the Bible ended up with a different name. Abram became Abraham. Right? People had second names. And when they went through those periods in which they were in darkness and came out to the other side, God would say, you're no longer that person. You're now this person. So Saul became Paul. Transformation. And that's the second you. So what is that? What is the second you once you pursue fear? What is the second you once you get through those relationships and you forgive? What is the second you when you break through? We challenge you to that. We invite you to that. And if you need us, we're here. You know, family, you know how we always do. We celebrate the one and only. And today is no different. And today we celebrate him with our indie artist of the month, the song Senpai.
Senpai?
Senpai? Mm-hmm. Senpai. I killed the name, people. Senpai. That is the Spanish in me. Senpai by RJ Exclusive. But before we do, we want to leave you with these thoughts.
Family, remember, you don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to be great.
Be a blessing today to make an impact tomorrow. I have no idea why Kevin has this face, but be a blessing today to make an impact tomorrow. Grown Folks Radio, thank you so much for always being here today. RJ Exclusive, thank you for being here. And thank you to all. Good night.
Guys, we thank you for an amazing series. Thank you for the participation. Thank you for the allowing the good Lord to use you as a vessel to get the message out to people all over the world. We're so appreciative of you and your efforts, and we know that we cannot continue to grow if we can't do it without you. So we need you to continue to do that. Yeah, like Dan said, share. Fam, we ask that, you go to Grown Folks Radio Worldwide, go to our Facebook page. If you're pulling something from the content that we're talking about, whether it's this series or another topic or whatever, write us a review. Let us know how you feel, whether you agree with what we're saying or whether you don't agree. We want as many reviews as possible. Us as a family here, we want to know how we're doing.
Yes.
Right. We want to be able to fine tune our efforts to make sure we are continuing to deliver the content the way we need to deliver it,
Right.
to get it to a point where you can receive it the way you need to receive it, right?
Amen.
All right. Hey, guys, we love you guys. Make sure you guys join us next week. Everyday Talk. Carmen and Kevin, Grown Folks Radio. We love you guys. You guys be safe out here. All right.
And
we love you
Dan
guys. O'Toole. And Dan
Bye,
O'Toole,
guys. Love
who
you guys.
doesn't eat his vegetables.
Oh my gosh.
Good night, guys.
I've been battling with this since the day my dog flew away. You can't find too many real friends. The Bible says you're blessed if you find one. But also I know that God don't make mistakes. He too.
Reminiscing on all the past days. Left me vulnerable, searching for all the old plays. Had to look in the mirror just to see the phase change. Safe to say it looked great enough to stay on back page. But let's go back a page before the gospel upgrade. I seen so many days of falling out trying to get paid. Never seen rich, but man, I should've known broke. Never been famous, but I always had this thing get called hope. I lost this sterling nickels, and that went and broke my drive. Joan called me on the daily till the day he fly. Never seen tears of mine until I looked in his eyes. And I remember the times we had on them long rides. He used to tell me, bro, it's a blessing that I'm even alive. Never thought he'd leave me before it was my time. I lost a lot of people, but this one here felt a little different. Now he gone, it felt like a piece of me had went with him. And he told me that I got something ain't nobody else got. I told him he would be great, spitting nothing but fire. Safe to say, I know he looking over me in the sky. Rapping to Jesus like you wanna hear my next little rhyme. I know it's a matter of time before I see him. Big party up in heaven when I walk through just to greet him. Most loyal God that I know, dead or alive. That's why I had to dedicate this one to Senpai. Man, we call him Senpai.
I know I couldn't come soft on this thing. My brother wouldn't accept nothing but perfection.
Never in competition, my intuition is to practice what I'm preaching in this life I'm living. Many people pray, but mentally they stuck in prison. Senpai was the image of self-made living. Never chasing a name of fame and God we trust. Senpai left a standard for each and every one of us. Realize that tomorrow ain't promised, so for the day we live, work until the morning come like brothers. What sleep is, knowing at any moment that we can go meet our maker. That's why we don't have time to ever be a hater. This year been crazy, but it's safe to say I know you got it. Senpai was a standard, can't nobody ever copy. Living legend in my books, he's sitting next to Kobe. Now he ballin' up in heaven, watching us already knowing who next. But I pray that you just watch over me. I know you seeing things that I only dreaming of seeing. Senpai.
Hey, I'm coming back. Hey, we gonna see each other. Hey, you just saved me a seat up in the studio. Senpai.